my name's Tris and this is Neal and we're up here in my loft. I want to talk to you about my big update that I've had to the loft and something that I've been, let's say, dreaming of over the past couple of years since starting to do the layout. First things first, the light in here is never that great. You got obviously as much as you can do in regards to attaching decent quality lights, let's say LED fluorescence, and that's alright, but you feel a bit like what you imagine a vampire would feel like, always in the dark, and that's not so nice. What I've had installed is a nice new window in the roof, a Velux window that I can open up and let some air out, as well as some fresh air in, as well as I get a nice view, as well as having some natural light coming in. So actually, when I don't have these on, the light in here is still very good. What I do is I'll flick it off for a second and you can see what I mean. So I don't have to be in artificial light all the time to be doing what I'm doing. Obviously I've got my little lights here on the layout, but on those days where the sun's kind of working really nicely, I can obviously enjoy just some natural light. One thing that I find is when I'm up here, that can be something that makes you just feel like I want to be outside, especially in the summer when it is really nice. On to the next thing. So behind me before I had a boiler on the wall, which is great, heat your house and all that, but for me it was a bit of a pain because I had to stop here and I needed to have a lift out section just here, which meant that I never really did anything on this. So that's something that, yeah, it kind of stopped me really being inspired by this section of the track. So I've actually had that put in my hobby room cupboard. I needed a new boiler anyway, it got out of action, so when I got a quote for a new boiler, so what about relocation? So they routed the pipes through the ceiling and dropped it into an ideal place, which is fantastic. The hole here was where the exhaust of the boiler went out before, and now I've got this available. So the idea will be that I can run the layout towards this wall now, and I can rethink what I'm doing with this end, which gives me a good bit of motivation for what we're going to be talking about next. So I've got something big to talk about. I've been looking forward to doing it for ages. Not only have I had the boiler out of the loft and have a window put in place that I get some natural light, this loft hatch is my access to the loft naturally, and then I pull this ladder down each time, and it's a conventional looking kind of three tier ladder where you pull out your two sections. And it's been a bit of a pain because my head will kind of sometimes bump up against the board at the top, and also the cats can climb up it, but they also can't climb down it. Well, we're not going to let him go up there because that means I have to get him down, but he loves the loft. It's like one of his favourite things. Probably going to try and jump up now. Yep, because he's amazing. Oh, let's get him down. So that's my cat, that's Groot, as some of you already know. I'll put this away before we have too much more fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in about 5 seconds and show you what's changing, because in this area just here there's going to be an addition. So I've moved over to a larger one of the wooden ones. I first saw these when my brother had that for his loft, and you can pull down on the hook. It detaches from the little mechanism there. This comes down here, locks out there, and then you've got these wonderful legs that come down, which I'm sure some of you who have loft layouts already know about these, but now I'm not going to bash my head when I go through if I don't tuck in. If I want to carry something quite large, or if I've got a layout, I can put that up here, slide it through. So it's just going to be brilliant. And actually, because before we had the hatch here, which is being blocked up, I'll eventually get the roof or the ceiling re-skimmed with that. It means now that when I'm up here and I don't hit the board with my head, that's great, as I've said, but when I'm up here I can shut that down, and this area could be storage for drawers and things like that, which before I couldn't do. So I'm quite happy. So I build a little hatch so that I can walk on as well from the top, so I can tuck that down and use that as a walking around area. So I'm really pleased with this. So with the boiler done, the window, and now the hatch, the loft for me is very complete. I need to board some bits back out and start building up some baseboards again, as well as insulate the wall, well, the inside of the roof, put boards up. So it's a big project, but it's going to be really good. So I'm looking forward to bringing more episodes to you about doing all this in the future. So as well as the loft hatch that I've had installed, which is a great improvement, my video from the other day that I've just added in there will show that it's something very pleasing for me. I now have to just make sure I don't fall down here, but if I want to, apart from jumping over the top of it or stepping over, I'm going to put a nice little board down so I can stand on here for when I want to work on the layout when it's like this. As you can tell, this whole side has been ripped up, and for good reason. Firstly, I was never happy with the MDF boards, everything being at one height around the layout. So I like the idea of what we'll do is we look at just here. I'll just pivot the camera around. Is just here. I've got a bit of area now. They took out some of the trusses and they've beefed up all the area around, so then I can have this window in, which allows me to have a level that's quite low and also a nice area to work on the layouts. I like the idea of the layout coming around here, and let's say I could have a viaduct or just changes in heights on things, and that could go right to the floor if I really wanted to. Don't need to, but it's something that I've been thinking about quite a lot. What should I do? Give me some comments below and let me know what you think I could have in here, but I've got so many ideas. Pretty excited about all of this. Unfortunately, I'm going to be away of work for about 3-4 weeks, so I'm not going to be able to do anything, but I'll have plenty of planning time. Back over here where the railway would come around here, I like the idea of having my two main lines that come round where the branch line kind of comes to meet it together, and so then you have the three going over there. Over here we could have two viaducts. You could have the the 2 lane viaduct bridge, and then a single track one that comes in, or we could do anything. So that's something that really interests me, and I actually would like to know what you all think. Back to the layout that's a bit more established. I do need to finish some areas on here. The second platform, I want to finish adding the fences behind, and then this becomes a good yard around here. And what I'd like to do is extend into this area, so come actually through here and come out to the front, so I get a bit more play value here. So what I want to do is build a triangle shape onto the front of here, and we can have an engine shed, a good shed, some sidings. Who knows, I might even put a turntable in if I grow some confidence on that one. An area that I wanted to work on the station was to build up a new signal box. This is one of my 3D printed ones, but I wanted a kind of shorter signal box to sit in here. This one clearly isn't enough, and I was thinking about building one up out of, you know, scratch built materials, but Pico do a fantastic kit which I've enjoyed building up, which what we do is we'll watch a little video of it going together. It's quite a nice little build. I built bits of it over Christmas and then painted it up. So it came out really nicely. I was really happy. The additions I added over what the kit had was the wire that went in front of the windows. I haven't put any glass behind them yet. I might do later on. But the little wires seems to be what you see on the railways themselves. And inside, as you've seen on the video, added just a nice set of bits inside. Nothing too fancy, but I know it's there. There's a little guy inside, and if I want to, I could put a little light in at some point. Named it Pearly, after what my layout is called. So that's something nice. And that actually just sits over in this corner. As you can see where it's sitting, I've got some lamps in the way, so I will pull them out, move this back, but I think it fits into the area really well. You'll notice this bridge. This is one of the in the Greenwood laser foot bridges. I've put it here for just general placement. It's not as detailed as I'd like it to be. I built it when I first got into the hobby again, and actually really happy with what it represents. And I could maybe spend some time cleaning this one up and make it look more detailed, but I've seen some of the L-cuts laser kits, which I'm gonna get one of them and put that on the layout because they look pretty nice. There are various ones out there, and you can spend some time scratch building if you really wanted to, but I'd like to either have it here or maybe work it over there where I've got two flat sections. Just here promotes the area. I think I could have one to sit in there, kind of like that idea coming in, just like at Bewdley, where just after the station you can actually walk up that way up it, come over and drop back down. But obviously this isn't exactly like Bewdley actually in any way, shape or form, just apart from the station building was inspired by it. Delivered by my recently painted Great Western Colic Goods logo. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. I thoroughly enjoyed doing the video. I wanted to show you a it's a combination of the gunpowder vans and wagons. These are by Rapido Trains. They actually come with two pamphlets. There's quite a nice amount that goes with a wagon, because normally if I picked up a Bachmann, Hornby or a Dapol wagon, you don't get too much with it, but Rapido, it's been fantastic that they've entered the market with some Great Western Railway rolling stock. They've got their 4-plank wagons here. I've actually got 2 lots of the same. I like the idea of renumbering them later, so I can tweak the numbers on them, and that'll be fine by me. And where you've got the iron mink vans, you've got a gunpowder one that's just back here, and then you've got kind of 2 more normal ones, but I like this one because it's Reading on it, and that's where I'm from originally. So it's nice to have a one with Reading on there, which is nice, and then more of a normal looking one just there. So really pleased with that. They give you a lot of info about them on here. I could read you one little bit. It says the Great Western Railway 6V Iron Mink is one of the most recognisable designs that came out of Swindon Wagon Drawing Office. Shortages of timber forced the Great Western Railway to build vans from metal, but it wasn't until 1888 that it could be called the standard Iron Mink. So yeah, it's just nice to see that, as well as on the 4 planks they talk all about that. With the 4 plank, it says the Great Western Railway's open wagons evolved from simple archaic 1-plankers to this more contemporary looking 4-plank design in just 16 years, introduced in 1886. This 4-plank 10-ton capacity shared its underframe with the new Iron Mink van. So I guess when Rapido did these, after they did the 2 chassis, and why not do the upper parts on them as well? So that's quite nice to read about. So I think they're very nice. A lot of my wagons and bits that aren't weathered, I'd like the idea of putting some coal inside at some point, weathering the bottom just delicately like I did on my Colic Goods. I don't like to kind of make them look like they're absolutely not looked after, but it's nice to have a little bit of dirtiness to them to show that they're as realistic as the layout that you're trying to do. So that's that. So yeah, so really pleased. I got these in kind of 2 goes because I think they're around the £28 mark. So there's, a few pounds worth there, but really pleased that I got them. And like I said, you've got Bachmann, Dapol, Hornby, who do produce them. If not, I've got my Coopercraft ones that I've made, or I've got my Pico Parkside ones. So it's nice to have someone else out there going down that route of producing some. Apologise for any brands that I've not noticed. Hopefully Rapido do some more of these type products in the future. I know they've got their 15XX coming, which I've got on order. They've got a What If livery in Great Western Railway, which I'm very happy with seeing that they're going to be doing that. Anyway, other things that are new to the kind of rolling stock or locos that I've got, I'll just show you now. Recently I picked up a City of Bath. I've been looking forward to getting one of the Great Western Railway cities. I picked this up on eBay, not too expensive. There are some going at reasonable prices, some going for exceptionally high prices. The detailing on these is fantastic when you look at the striping that's gone down from what's been painted on, because this would be putting passenger goods, I'm assuming, based on the fact that it's painted up and has the nice livery compared to just painted green. All around the front, the bogie on the front, and then you have the side here where you got the outside motion on here. It's very impressive the way this is all being detailed and beautiful. And I'd love it if Bachmann did another run of these and did a few different names for it. I'm going to try and get hold of some more. I'd like to paint some up and have some different nameplates on the side. There's a few nameplates that I quite like the look of. I like the idea of painting them up nicely, but this is a gorgeous loco, and I'm going to put a coal load in it, add some a DCC chip inside, and that would be wonderful. But there's something really good looking about these 440s. I didn't really kind of see much in them before, but as time's gone by, I've kind of really found a liking for them anyway. But it's a fantastic model from Bachmann, and I really hope that they, like I say, do another run of these one day. The City of Truro obviously would be a nice one to have. And like I said, if there's any other names that they decided to do to add to the list. So yeah, so let me know what you think of these, but I think they're absolutely gorgeous. Two locos that I've picked up that I'm really pleased of getting hold of is this Class 20. I love the blue with yellow ends of the British Railways liveries. Really wanted to pick one of these up, so when I went over to Tony's Trains of Rugby, I picked this up, and I love it. I think I can detail up a few areas around the bogies, as well as I picked up this Gronk, as people like to call them. Really wanted to get a nice running one. I do have an old Bachmann one, which is probably very similar to this one anyway, but it doesn't run, and I do need to give it some love. But with the black, with the red commods on the side, I do like how that's going to stand out when I'm running it. The idea of my layout is I'll have my steam days, and if I want to, I can take it all off and run my diesel days, or just run it as a heritage line and do whatever you like. So this will look really nice, I think, if we do a little bit of weathering work on it. But it's nice to have a BR crested one. As much as I try and avoid the BR crests, I'll have them here and there. But this would have been around during the time of the steam engines, I'm assuming. So that's something that I kind of really like the idea of. So as you can see, there's a lot that can happen, and I'm looking forward to it. The kind of shifting things around, gaining some more room, actually gaining some space underneath the layout as well as having an area where I don't have a truss in the way, kind of opens up what we could do with it. I'd love to have a loft conversion one day, but that means I'd have to rip up all of this. So I think we'll just stick with what we've got, and maybe something for the future. I'm really pleased with the progress, even though it's not things on the layout. Yes, I've got a signal box there, and I've got some new ideas, but to have the hatch so I can climb up in a nicer way, having a nicer ladder, as well as in a more convenient place. The boiler going away, so I gain some room and some natural light and fresh air from the Velux window. 3 big additions. I guess one's an exclusion from the loft, but 2 main additions that have kind of really given me some motivation. So what I've done, actually, I've boarded out a lot of the board. I've boarded out a lot of the loft, which wasn't boarded before. It was kind of all insulation in certain places. So now I've gone down that route of meaning that if I crawl around anywhere, I'm not going to put my hand through anything. So that's great, and also I can organise where storage is going to sit a bit more now. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I've enjoyed sharing this with you. I've been looking forward to telling you all about it. If you don't already follow the channel, click subscribe. I'm on Instagram as well, Neal, Facebook as Neal, even on TikTok, but don't worry too much about that. I just put a couple of videos up from time to time and have some fun. Hit like if you liked it, comment, let me know about all the things, let me know about your experiences of the loft and what you found to be troublesome, things that you'd like to do. It's always nice to hear people's ideas because you can maybe incorporate them yourself, and anyone else reading the comments afterwards will also have a look through and maybe pick things up as well. Thank you to my patrons and my channel members as well. Thank you for your support with the channel. It's always appreciated. All the support goes back into everything that we're doing here to try and make a channel that you can come to and enjoy and maybe learn something from. I'm always learning myself, so I like to share my journey along the way. Anyway, as always, thank you, take care, have fun with the railway. Don't get too stressed about things looking the right way sometimes. Just maybe try and just enjoy yourself a little bit more. If not, take a break from it if you can't. That's what I do from time to time, working quite a lot as I do. I get to have breaks from this and I think about it quite a lot, so when I get home I can go and enjoy it. Anyway, thanks for watching, take care, see you soon, and bye.